Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Afi and I'm back again with another video. The reason why I'm doing this video right now at night, it's raining, so you're gonna hear like rasha rasha ukonje. I have no makeup on, like literally I'm just looking a bit of like this. And the reason why this is happening at this time is because I have to do this song inspiration because like I just cannot not do it, you know. I have another video that I'm editing that I was listening to this song, so I feel like I need to do this song inspiration. And then I think this is gonna come out before the vlog and before that other video, and then that other video will come out. So anyway, without further ado, my name is Afi. If you don't know me, I do a lot of faith-based content, life content, uni content. Yeah, I mean, I guess I just do anything. Now I'm doing like vlogs, which are my favorite thing. So the song that I'm going to be talking about today is called Homeward. It's by Benjamin Hastings. It was released literally 2 days ago, 15th October 2021. I am so excited, honestly. Like when you watch that video, then you'll understand. But the reason why I'm really excited about this song specifically is because actually two songs, Faith Is and Homeward, is because these songs really speak to my soul, and I just wanted to do this song inspiration because just, you know, why not. So you'll see my fingers moving. I am checking on my laptop and I am saying talking. I'm too excited. I don't know what I'm saying anymore. Anyway, I just wanted this to be like a little like casual chat, so I'm not dressed up, I'm not like nothing like that. I'm gonna cringe when I see this video like 5 years from now, but it's fine because this song. Anyway, verse 1, I'm out here in the open trying to stay the path, somewhere in between the promise and the place it comes to pass, basically. And then I don't know. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do this video because it feels very intimate for me personally in this moment, but I kind of like it, you know. Anyway, so here he's basically just saying like this place that he's in, right, is like he's in between this promise and then the place that is supposed to come to pass. So this is talking about the whenever you're in an in-between. A lot of times, a lot of the songs that we hear are like and every single time I talk about this, the one song that comes into my head is a Hillsong song. I can't remember what it's called, but I know Another in the Fire. The song Another in the Fire talks about how like I know when I'm in the middle of the fire, like there's always another in the fire, like standing next to me. If you haven't watched that song inspiration, I'm gonna leave it here, you can watch it. But yeah, so there's another in the fire, standing next to me, things like that. Whereas I feel like in this verse he's basically like I'm in the middle of the fire, like I am writing this song as I am at the center of that whole fire. And I think the reason why it feels so intimate for me personally is because I've talked about this before. If you watch my videos before, honestly, like I know you're tired of hearing this, but like I am in the middle of a fire, and this is just like, you know, current emotion. So the pre-chorus, I guess, or like continuation of that verse says, who knows what it'll cost or how long it'll last, but I told you I would follow and I'll never take it back. And this is truly like a faith thing, because I think whenever you start to believe or you take your faith seriously or whatever it is, for me it was taking my faith seriously, because I feel like people that know me watched like whenever they see me saying, oh, take my faith seriously, like what is this girl been talking about? And it's like, yeah, because I've kind of always had faith, right? But so much has changed in me in the past year, and I guess it's a lot more that like only me and God know, you know, only me and God know how much has changed, but so much has changed in me. And so here it's basically like when you get into the faith, you have like you're on a high, you're really on a high, and then it stops being a high and now you're like comfortable, you're normal, and you're kind of like, okay, what's happening, and then you get into like a waiting season, and sometimes it's like you're at the center of all of this stuff, like you're not where you're supposed to be. So there's a promise, there's like where you're meant to be, and then you're not where you were before, but you're just in this in between, and this in between is painful. It's hard. And here he says, and I told you I would follow, and I'll never take it back. So it's just reaffirming the fact that even though in this moment I'm going through the pits, I am literally struggling the most I can. I've had so many conversations with God, and I'm just like, God, if this is what it means to like believe in you, I don't know if I want it anymore, man. Like I don't know. But it's kind of like, no, I I know that this is the right path, and so I'm probably just gonna stick by it. But it is very, very tough, and I like the recognition of that, because I feel like a lot of the times whenever we're recognizing that fact, we're like on the other side, and we're like, and I'm telling you for sure, like, you get to the other side, whereas this is very raw of like the moment. So the chorus says, I'll hang on every word you ever said, for I know you're faithful, and I'm still waiting on a wealth of promises, but I know you're able. So if ever I stray, if ever I fall, won't you call me homeward? And I think it's just that thing of like reaffirming of like, I'm going to hang on every single promise that you made me, even though it doesn't look like it's happening right now, right? I personally have very big dreams for my life. You know, like I just feel like I have so many things that I want to accomplish, but in the place that I'm in right now, none of that looks possible. Honestly speaking, like, I'm in this place where I'm just kind of like, I'm tired. I am exhausted from going through this process. Like, what? I remember feeling this in the beginning of the year and almost like being very, very like lighthearted about it, of like, oh yeah, I'm in a waiting season. Now I'm just kind of like, it's been going on for way too long. Also, you know, this is also like, I'm not the most patient person, not gonna lie. Like, I'm really, really not the most patient person in the entire world. I can tell you for free, my patience has really, really increased. There's so many things that have really tested me, and you know, I'm a lot better, but I'm really, really not the best, you know. And so I've had those moments, so I'm kind of like, okay, I'm trying to get to the promise now. Like, why is this promise not where? Like, where is it? As a matter of fact, where is it? I want to see it right now, or else, you know, I'm out. But yeah, so it's basically like, if ever I stray, if ever I fall, would you call me homeward? Like, God, wouldn't you like just like, you know, grab me and hold me and be with me, kind of thing. So verse 2 says, I've asked you more than once to hurry up the plans, but what if where you want me is exactly where I am? I feel like that's self-explanatory, but the way it hits is just like on its own level, because I think when I tell you guys, like, this has been my prayer the entire, like, the whole time, I've literally just been like, God, like, hurry it up. Like, I'm ready to be on the other side. And I feel like 2019, it's interesting because I think I'm trying to think about my life, right? And trying to think about whether I remember a time when I wasn't like, I'm ready to get to the next stage, because at this point, nimechoka, you know. And maybe it's just been a constant thing of wanting to be there. But I think the one time I was so content with my life was 2020. I have never been as content as I was in 2020. Oh my gosh, guys. I was just like this girl discovering faith, discovering my own faith, figuring out what my own like independent faith meant, like trying to make friends, trying to be, I was just like this happy, jolly, just so much. Unajua maisha ikuwa imenipiga. 2020 was really, really good, actually. Honestly, I feel like that is very contrary to what a lot of people have gone through. And, you know, like, it's, I don't know what to say, because I feel like a lot of times people want to be like, oh, that's so insensitive. But it's like, I am talking about my own experience. And for me, 2020 was literally like the highlight of my life. And I say highlight of my life. I can remember up until I was like 10 years old. Like, I don't think I remember a lot like before 10. So between 10 and 20 was the best. And then we got into 21, and I was kind of like, this is not the ghetto that I signed up for. And I'm still in the middle of that ghetto, and I'm like, God, this needs to like be done, you know. In the in between, like, it's tough, and you have this prayer, and you're telling God, I'm ready to be on the other side. Like, God, I know, like, I've gone through character development enough. I'm ready to be on the other side. I am ready. Like, you know, I've done the exercise. I've done the warm-ups. I've done everything. I've done all the prep that I need. I'm ready to be on the other side. God is kind of like, nope, your other side has not arrived yet. You have a ways to go. And I am just like, oh gosh, like, this is never going to end. And that's honestly, that is really the feeling that I have. It's like, this trash is never going to end. It's just always good. It's just gonna be never ending, and it's annoying. And the thing is, I feel like nobody actually understands the trash you're going through. Nobody can get it. Everybody is just like, you're so blessed, you're so blessed, you're so blessed, you can't. And it's kind of like, I know, like, I know I'm blessed. I don't know how to explain it to my heart. I don't know how to explain it to myself. Like, I don't know how to convince myself that I am blessed, so I should not be feeling like this. Do you get what I'm saying? Where it's kind of like nobody's ever gonna get it, and you're gonna be stuck in this cycle of people trying to convince you of all the blessings that you have. And I have moments in my life where I'll have a conversation with someone. Like, I remember actually yesterday, oh my god, I had the best conversation with a really, really sweet girl. Honestly, she's so sweet. And she was just talking about how, like, she loves, like, what she, like, she was kind of like, oh yeah, you know, my dream, blah blah blah. And I'm like, I'm looking at her and I'm like, I kind of love that you have this dream. And it made me think, wow, I really should be grateful for where I am, right? It's one thing to know in your brain, and it's a whole other thing to know in your heart. And I just feel like I don't know how to convince my heart. I just don't know. Anyway, the next part, which is pre-chorus or continuation of verse 2, says, because what I learned from waiting is waiting never lasts. You didn't bring me this far just to bring me back. No, you're too good for that. And in the other video, I actually say, what did I say? I said something to do with, like, I probably will never experience the kind of joy that I experienced in 2020. Like, that might never actually, like, happen, but maybe I'll experience a different kind of joy. Maybe my joy is gonna look completely different. And I think, and the thing with, I feel like going through this sad period is, I think people around you are watching you, and everybody's kind of like, oh my gosh, and it kind of feels like you are getting everyone around you down. And it's like, I don't know how not to, because it's like, if I isolate myself, I'm really gonna get into a really, really bad place. But then whenever I'm around people, it feels like I'm getting them down, and it's like, what am I supposed to do? But anyway, just the idea that, like, waiting never lasts. So I know I'm not gonna be in this period forever. Like, I genuinely know that this is going to be over. I just know when, you know. And sometimes you're like, God, just give me the template and then I'll follow it Honestly, I'm so good at following templates. Like, just give it to me and I will follow it exactly to the letter. You want me to fall inside that ditch, I will fall inside that ditch. I will fall. If it means getting to that promise, I will fall inside the ditch. No problem. I don't, you know, like, I have no problem with it. But of course, that's not how it works. Yeah, but I posted it today. Today is Sunday when I'm filming this, and I actually posted, I saw this memory, right, that I posted this day last year, and I was basically talking about how China McLean is so open about her faith and how she talks about God and things like that. And I was like, oh my gosh, I really pray that I can have that kind of confidence, and then see myself now, you know, like, just see myself now in this moment being extremely, like, never feeling, I actually am not afraid anymore. I feel like when I first started, I was so scared of talking about God, and then now it's kind of like I have those moments where I'm like, this topic is not one of the ones that sells the most, so I don't really know how far I can go with this. But I'm just kind of like, I'm not scared anymore. I'm actually overjoyed to talk about God. And so, you know, it's like, God has brought me this far. So he didn't bring me this far just to take me back to the insecure girl who didn't know about God, who didn't know her worth, who didn't understand God and his heart and true parents and just all of that stuff. Like, I was not brought this far just to go back to that person. But, you know, anyway, God is too good for that. That's all we're gonna say. And then we go into the chorus. I'll hang on every word you ever said, for I know you're faithful. I'm still waiting on a wealth of promises, but I know you're able. So if ever I stray, if ever I fall, won't you call me homeward? Then verse 3 says, sometimes I feel you and sometimes I feel like I don't. And I thought this was the bridge. Interestingly enough, I actually thought this was the bridge, but it looks like it's just a verse, like the third verse. There's no bridge in this song, which, okay, cool. Anyway, it says, sometimes I feel you and sometimes I feel like I don't, but faith's more than feeling. It's like seeing the invisible. I talk about how I've struggled to connect with gospel music this year. I have struggled to connect to sermons. I have struggled to connect to even just doing my devotions, like my Bible, like the Bible app devotions. I have been struggling. So, like, can I tell you, I've never struggled so hard in my entire life. Like, it really has been an entire struggle, and I don't know what to do. Like, it's kind of like, I'm just like, friend, the feelings just in there, you know, they're just in there, they're not working. But it says, but faith's more than feeling. It's like seeing the invisible, and that's why my faith is still very strong. And I feel like every time I say my faith is going through the pits, I have to explain. It's not that I don't believe, it's just that the way I was feeling before, I'm not feeling anymore. So now, being in this place where I'm not feeling anymore, I have to figure out like a new way of being. Like, it has to be like, now how will I praise God? Now how will I, like, which music will I listen to? What devotions will I do? I feel like I go back and forth between stuff. I'm really, really trying to, a lot of times, for me, I think I'm the kind of person who appreciates structure but also doesn't like being too boxed in. Anyway, the next part says, yet somehow I see it, all that lies at the end of the road, and I don't know the timing, so I'm guessing it's not mine to know. Lord, help me believe it. All those days, I feel like I'm singing in my head. All those days when I feel like I don't. I've learned faith isn't fearless. It's just trusting when you fear the most. And then it says, and someday I'll see it. Reach the house at the end of the road. Should that road leave me lonely? Well, I know that I am never alone. And then it goes into the chorus. And I highly recommend you listen to this song, because when I tell you that this, like, the way the song, the music specifically is arranged, it's so good. Everything about the song is wonderful, honestly speaking. Like, everything, from the lyrics to the music to everything. Like, all of it is really, really good. So I highly recommend that you listen to the song. Yeah, I feel like I didn't talk about that like last bit too much, but it's, for me, I just think it's very self-explanatory, and more than that, I just think it's like, okay, it's this idea of like, and I feel like I've talked about it, like, it's this idea of being at the center, seeing the end of the road. And I think that's what this verse 3 is representing. The first verse is basically like, I'm in the middle of this fire, like, this is what I'm feeling right now. And then I feel like verse 2 is basically saying like what I'm feeling in the middle of the fire. Does that make sense? So it's kind of like, I've told you to do this, I've told you to do this, but I know this part is true. And then the third verse, I feel like, is kind of like, okay, I'm in the middle of the fire, it's not okay, but I know that I'm gonna get to the end of that. Like, I know that there's an end, I know that I'm gonna get there, and I'm praying that you help me believe in it so much that I can just like hold on to that belief, because faith is not only about what I'm feeling in the moment. Faith is so much more than that. And like it says, faith isn't fearless, it's just trusting when you fear the most. And I think that's one of the things that's actually a lot more difficult to do than it sounds, because I think when it's interesting because people like to say, I've had people saying, oh, remember to pray to God when good things are happening, right? And I think for me, I actually end up praying a lot more when good things are happening. When bad things are happening, I tend to turn away from God. And not actually turn away, honestly speaking, but it's just that I tend to, I don't know whether I think that I have the ability to work my own miracles. Like, I don't know what it is that happens. I don't know what kind of ego pride comes in that I think I can deal with it myself. But I think I'm also the kind of person who likes to, I turn away from people when I'm going through hardship, like hard stuff. When hard stuff is happening, I will isolate myself. I will literally go from school to home and not talk to anybody in between. I'll say hi to my friends a little bit, then I'll come back home immediately. And I notice that I do that a lot when I'm going through hardship, and I am trying very, very hard, especially in the past month. I feel like I've been trying a lot more to surround myself with people, to just be around people, even if like my head is not there, even if like that's, just whatever it is, like even if stuff is feeling so heavy for me, I have been trying very, very hard to kind of like, be part of people. I feel like I isolate myself a lot more when I come home. Like, I just stay in my room, hang out myself. By the way, I have no energy to deal with people. By the time I get home, I'm kind of like, oh gosh, that's so much. So anyway, that's been it. So why did I start talking about that? Yeah, so this part actually, it just says, and someday I'll see it, right? I'll reach the house at the end of the road. Should that road leave me lonely? Well, I know that I'll never that I'm never alone. And that's basically talking about the friendships that you kind of have to drop, or just, you know, sometimes when you're in the middle of the fire, you're just not in the place to be friends with people. And I was actually telling my friend this. I was like, I think I have to step away from some things because I just don't have the capacity to be what that person needs, and I don't think they can be what I need. I haven't seen that they can. So it's kind of, it's a very difficult decision, but I haven't made it yet. But I'm still just kind of like in the middle of the fire. I can see that you lose quite a bit of people. You lose, you know, all of those things, and it's tough. It's hard. But yeah. So if that road should lead me, if that road should leave me lonely, I'll know that I'm never alone. Just trying to remember that, like, God is always with you. And it's interesting because, like, in this entire song, he's basically saying that, like, you know, what did he say in this first part? Sometimes I feel you and sometimes I feel like I don't, right? So it's kind of like you have to remember that you're never alone, even when you feel like you don't feel God. Does that make sense? Like, sometimes it's so difficult, but you have to kind of, like, you know, be in that thing. But I feel so blessed, and I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up, and I will see you next time.